This is the Behind The Scenes Bulletin of the Seraphina Speaks for Children Who Think show. I'm your host, Seraphina Melina Durbin. Let's go right ahead to the bulletin, shall we? Hey, it's Seraphina, back with the Behind The Scenes Bulletin. One type of celebrity I didn't mention in the ever-so-long main episode is the self-made, do-it-yourself celebrity. These people believe that anyone can gain the system, create and brand an identity, and become a star. Mastering the art of self-branding appears to be essential, or as Mama's best friend Lucy Werner calls it, the ability to hype yourself and to self-promote. This type of celebrity is possible because of social media and podcasting. The step-by-step ways to create yourself as a self-made celebrity are to post about everyday life to an audience, design a public profile with words and images, send clever observations targeted at fans and friends who then validate these thoughts. Generating interest in the ordinary self in everyday activity is a mechanism of attention-getting. Nothing else is needed. In the past, people needed publicists to help them get this attention. Now we're all our own publicists. Take me. I don't see myself as a celebrity, although I'd like to be. I'm not seeking fame. I started this podcast at 7. I wasn't a podcaster. I was someone with an idea for a show. I came up with the name with a bit of help from supportive people in my life. The fact that my mother hosts podcasts meant the tech kit was already in our house. Could have been harder to do without this head start, but not impossible. I began to think about topics I care about. It was important to get permission and practical support to make this podcast. Mama is producer of the show. We work together. Since I began, I've been featured in lots of media, named a social impact hero online, and won the Golden Crane Award. This is an international podcast award and helps bring attention to this show. Recently, I curated an episode for the Earbuds Collective podcast. I chose to bring together 5 podcasts hosted by children. The theme of the episode is Kids with a Mic. I featured other people's hard work in the podcast industry. Being a podcaster with big visions and big opinions means it's important to build other people up. It's not all about me. Getting coverage in the media is key. I choose to not share the ins and outs of my life online. I prefer to concentrate on creating content here on the podcast and in my Substack. From these spaces, I'm growing my reach and network. Supporting other people's dreams is also something I love doing. Being generous and kind as we find our version of life means a lot to me. Algorithms expert Kelly Cotter says that the pursuit of influence is a game of visibility. The Lego Group asked 3,000 children aged 8 to 12 to choose from a list of 5 professions to answer which they prefer to be when they grew up, including an astronaut, musician, professional athlete, teacher, or YouTuber. The results showed British and American children were 3 times as likely to want to be YouTubers as astronauts when they grow up. Why not be an astronaut who YouTubes? It's lucky that celebrity is now available to anyone if they're willing to put the effort in. I'd love to hear how you feel about being a celebrity. Do you aspire to be a YouTuber or an influencer? Maybe you already are one. Email me with your thoughts too, seraphina@seraphinaspeaks.com. Before I go, if you'd like to be featured on this podcast, come join my correspondent team. All you have to do is post a review for the show on your fave podcast app. Then take a screenshot and send it to me at seraphina@seraphinaspeaks.com. Then I'll be in touch with you about being on the show. By the way, if you're looking for an idea of what to say in your review, if you're like me, you go blank, even though you want to do this. Here's a question for you. Let me know what country you're listening from and what you'd like me to talk about in a future episode. Another way is to subscribe to my Seraphina Speaks Substack. Put the words Seraphina Speaks Substack into your search engine and it'll come up. I write social commentary on ordinary topics we take for granted. It's an extension of this podcast. Of course it is. I also create an interview series with change-making podcasters. It's fun when they give us a peek into what they're working on, or even where they record from. Maybe I'm nosy, but I love getting the inside track on how people live and work. Next week's episode is called On Being Happy to Be Different. Who hasn't felt like they're the one who doesn't fit or belong? I hope you'll join me for that episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. Remember to tell your friends, family and teachers to listen into if you think they'll enjoy the show. Take care, everyone. Lots of love. I hope you enjoyed this bulletin, everybody. If you like what you hear, click the subscribe button. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for all your support.